Welcome back to the Creative Baddie Blooming Show. I'm your host, Renata McAlvany, a creativity coach for neurodivergent and multi-passionate women of color. And in this show, we talk about all things creativity as it relates to our self-discovery and healing. It's almost the end of the year, and with this season comes all kinds of challenges, one of them being overwhelm. This is why in today's episode, I want to talk about how to navigate this season with compassion while prioritizing our well being and using our creativity as a tool for grounding and healing in the midst of all the chaos. Because let's face it, as neurodivergent and multi passionate women of color, these challenges can hit even harder than they do most other people. Between disruptions with our routines, challenges maintaining our boundaries, and struggling to keep up with our self care, we can end up feeling exhausted and burnt out. So, if you relate, I invite you to stick around, keep listening, keep watching if you're on YouTube, grab your snacks, get comfy, and let's get into it. So, one of the reasons why I wanted to jump on here to talk to you about overwhelm is because I myself have been experiencing this feeling in the last few weeks. And I thought that this was a perfect topic to talk about as we are approaching the end of the year because there's so much going on. And I think that there's not enough reminders out there to put ourselves first. And if you're like me and you live in the US, you have likely also been experiencing a lot of emotions, a lot of big feelings. And I don't think there's a right or wrong way to feel because some people have been experiencing a lot of fear, a lot of sadness, hopelessness, while others are feeling really empowered and ready to get to work and just like very clear about what they want to do. And there's everything in between, right? But yeah, there's just a lot going on between the elections, the general political climate, and the ongoing crises around the world, including the genocide in Gaza. Then, as we start to approach the end of the year, there's also this added pressure and expectation to maximize every minute of your waking hour, achieving and doing all the things that you didn't get to in the last few months. And as if that wasn't enough, there's the added pressure of the holidays in general in an expectation to feel joyful and happy because that is what is marketed and advertised at us. But for a lot of us, this is a lot to ask for, especially because we have to spend more time with family, with friends. We have to be attending work functions. We have to do holiday shopping, cooking, hosting for friends and family. The list goes on. And like I mentioned at the beginning of the episode, as women with intersecting identities, it's only very normal to be experiencing a lot of challenging emotions at this time of year. For example, your routine may be disrupted. Maybe your spouse is home, your kids are also home, they're off from school, and everyone is there. And the things that you like to do in the morning, for example, if you like to go for a walk or you like to drink tea by yourself or your coffee, goes out the window because now you have to attend to your family. Maybe you're having to spend more time around more people than usual, and this leads to less alone time. And when we aren't spending time with ourselves, we're not connecting within and we're not checking with how we're feeling. It's easier to then be distracted by what everyone else is needing or experiencing. And I know for myself, I tend to lose myself very easily when I'm around other people because I can sense what other people need. And as a people pleaser, I think there's a tendency to want to make other people happy. And so our needs, my needs tend to be neglected. And it's harder to know what I need to make myself feel better if I'm not tuning in. You might also struggle putting yourself first because there's more of a pressure to want to make other people happy and be very accommodating and putting their needs first. And I know this was the case for me for a long time, being sort of the glue of the family. And whenever there was conflict, wanting to be the person to keep the peace and to maintain the harmony. But that takes a toll on us when we're focusing a lot on what everybody else needs and what they want and what they're thinking and doing. we're again losing ourselves, losing connection with what we need, and keeping our center. And a lot of the time there's a struggle too, because we don't want to disappoint people. We don't want to let people down. And so sometimes saying, I need time for me, or I need to step away, feels really hard. So having said all of this, I now want to share with you 5 gentle reminders as we start to go into the holiday season, to make sure that you take care of yourself and that you put your well-being first. And number 1 on the list is to allow yourself to feel all of your feelings, whatever they may be, around this time of year. It's so important that we take a moment to identify what it is that we're feeling, name the feeling, whether you do it out loud or in your mind, but just recognizing what that is. And that in itself gives us some relief, because we are acknowledging what's happening within us. And this helps us to process those emotions with more ease. And I believe it's they say that once we acknowledge the feeling, it takes like 90 seconds for that emotion to pass. But if we judge it and we tell ourselves that we're not supposed to feel those things, it takes longer for that emotion to process. So just acknowledge it and notice it, really. Number 2 on my list is a reminder that it's okay if your routine changes. I want you to embrace the changes and give yourself flexibility to work with whatever time you have for your self care. So if you tend to spend more time at other times of year, it's okay if it doesn't look like that right now. One of the things that I like to do the most is that whenever I'm not able to do something, I like to make a list of those things so that I can refer to it once I have a little bit more available space. And this is something that can really work for you as well, especially as many of you are moms and you're busy with the kids. It's important to still make sure that you are noting those things that you want to do as you have more time, because you don't want to dismiss those ideas. They're coming to you for a reason. So make sure you're tracking them. Reminder number 3, make sure that no matter how much time you have, you make time to be with yourself. Pull out your creative materials and get creative. This can look like 5 minutes of doodling. Maybe you want to put on a couple of songs that you love and dance by yourself in the bathroom or in your bedroom. You can also grab your journal and write down a few bullet points of things that you're grateful for before going to bed, perhaps. Maybe you want to do it in the morning if you have time. But this is something that I love doing at night because it helps me to ease my mind. I get to relax and it helps me to fall asleep with much more ease. Reminder number 4 is to remember that it's okay to opt out of unnecessary shopping. If you don't need it, don't buy it. Not only can this save you money, but it also can save you energy from having to shop around and look for things that you don't actually need. And instead, I want to recommend you to shop your own closet. I don't know if you have heard of this idea, but it's something that I love to do and I really enjoy it. And the whole goal is to try to use whatever it is that you already own and figure out different ways that you can put different outfits together, play with accessories, and just have fun expressing yourself. My last reminder number 5, is to practice gratitude through your creativity. So, what if instead of shopping, we instead focus on noticing what we already have and can be grateful for? This time of year, we are bombarded with messaging around consuming and buying things that we likely don't need, but there's a pressure to do so. And so I think one of the ways that we can counteract this is by instead focusing on our creativity. And one of my favorite exercises is to do drawings of series of things you already have. For example, it might be your clothes. Maybe you have a bunch of sweaters that you love wearing. Why not draw them and put them into your journal, into your sketchbook, as a way to honor them? Maybe you could do drawings of food that you really enjoy eating. You can also take photos of things that you love around your house, like I say, your closet, whatever it is that you really value. Take photos and create like a really cool, awesome journal spread that you can look at and that you can remember for years to come. I think that this helps us to practice both gratitude, but also it's a reminder to engage with our creativity. Remember, no matter what's going on around you, make time to connect with yourself and your creativity. Now more than ever, we need to start gathering all of our tools to support our own well being and our mental health. I hope this episode of the show was a gentle reminder to give yourself compassion, kindness, and love, even if you feel like everything is intense and hectic. You matter and you deserve time for you. Please don't forget to subscribe to the show and like this video if you're watching on YouTube. Also, sign up for my newsletter. The link is on the show's description. I send out weekly emails where I share the latest episodes of this show, resources, and my latest offerings. I can't wait to share what I've been working on. And thanks to those of you who share your thoughts, your feedback, it means the world to me. And thank you so much for tuning in. I will see you on the next one. Thank you so much. Be kind to yourself, stay creative, and we'll talk soon. Bye.